Again, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate everything you do for us. This is it's going to be a lot of fun this week. It's a game that I know everybody's kind of penciled and has looked forward to all year. Marshall is an excellent football team. A lot of respect for Coach Doc Holliday and how he runs his program, and they're a well-coached team. Their offense gets a lot of credit, which they deserve. But in my opinion, it starts with their defense. Their defense is really good. They're fast. They're athletic. You guys look at the stats. They're leading the conference in just about every statistical category. They've got some really, really good football players on that side of the ball. You guys know about their quarterback and how talented he is. He's up for all the, quarterback Manning, Johnny Unitas awards. He's mentioned in the Heisman. He's an excellent quarterback. Playing against him last year, we know how talented he is. They're very sound in the kicking game. They've blocked 2 punts this year, blocked one last week for a touchdown against Old Dominion. So it's a very good football team that we're getting ready to play. They're one of the top teams in the country, and here comes Mark, so I hope I don't get in trouble. They're one of the top teams in the country of home winning percentage, so it's a tough place to play. So we've got to be very mentally tough going on the road and playing in this environment. It's their homecoming. But again, I can't tell you how excited I am. We are as a team. Our players are. We had a great practice yesterday, and looking forward to going up there. I still don't believe we've played our best game this year. I'm really proud of where we are. We're 3-0 in the conference, as you guys know, and 4-2 overall. So at the halfway mark, I'm really pleased at where we are. The good thing is I told our team we hadn't played our best game yet, and we're in first place in the conference. So hopefully we'll have a great week of practice, and hopefully we'll play our best game this Saturday morning. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Coach, like you said earlier, everybody's looking forward to this game, especially with the two top teams in the Eastern Division facing each other. Is this a season-defining game for you guys, or are you guys just taking us the next game on the schedule?
It's the next game. Whoever wins this game, and we don't get the conference championship trophy. They're not going to pass that out Saturday afternoon. Whoever loses it, you're only one game back with a lot of games left to be played. So. It's the next game. It's the next step in our journey. It's conference game 4. We got 4 of them after this one. So you have to continue to play. You have to finish out your season. And like I always say, you win, you lose. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. You got to be ready to bounce back. You got to be ready to play the next game no matter who you play. So, no, this is not a season-defining game.
And, of course, you kind of touched on this earlier about how well Cato is one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. And, of course, the offense leads a lot of the stat categories in Conference USA. What do you guys need to do to kind of keep them in check this week?
Well, I don't think anybody's done that. I thought we did a pretty good job last year against him. He's too talented. He's going to make his plays. You don't throw that many touchdown passes as he has in his career, as many yards as he's thrown for in his career, saying you're going to be able to shut him down completely. The thing you can't do, you can't give up the big play, and he's going to make plays. You got to make them earn everything they get. I thought we did that a good job of that last year playing against him. But again, we just we've got to play consistent defensive football and not give up the huge explosion plays that he's so capable of getting.
Coach, last year was kind of a welcome to Conference USA moment for you guys. You beat them on national TV, last second pass. You know, everybody was watching across the country on, I think it was a Thursday night. What do you remember about that game? And then kind of, is this also a similar game for this team in the sense that you're taking on a team that's getting a lot of national recognition and another opportunity for you guys to kind of go, not shock the world, but win a game that you're not supposed to win?
No, to me, this is competing against a good football team. You know, we were 6-2 in the conference last year. We're 3-0 right now. You know, so in the last year and a half, we're 9-2 in conference play. So, you know, we don't have to shock anybody. Last year might have been a shock to other people, but it wasn't a shock to us. We expected to win the game. We were fortunate enough to win the game, you know, and you know, we're going up there expecting to win this game. And again, we've got to play better than we have the first 6 games, and I'm fully confident that we will play better than what we've played. But this is not a defining game. It's not a shock the world game. It's a conference game against a really good opponent. We've played a bunch of conference games against some really good opponents. So they're picked to win the conference. They won it last year, or they won the East last year. And, you know, so it's a really good football team that we've got to go up and, you know, understand the challenge and understand what we have to do to be successful in this game.
You mentioned their defense in your opening. They, you know, just really impressive. Is everybody will talk about their offense, but their defensive numbers are off the chart. How do you attack them? Where is there a weak spot? Where do you guys seeing your best opportunities to succeed against a defense like theirs?
Well, you know, I don't know if there's a glaring weak spot. When you lead the conference in defensive scoring, when you lead the conference in least amount of yards rushing, giving up, least amount of passing, I mean, total defense, you know, they're a good football team. And you know, we've got to execute what we do, and we're not going to come in and, you know, we're not going to change what we do offensively, anything like that. We just have to execute better than what we've executed offensively. We're still going to try to run the ball. We're still going to try to be effective and efficient throwing the ball. To me, what we have to do offensively is we can't turn the ball over. And I say that for 6 straight press conferences now, or 7 straight, whatever this has been. But we've got to protect the ball. When you play a team as good as Marshall, you can't give them, you know, an extra at bat. You can't give them an extra possession. And we were better last week or Saturday against Southern Miss than we were the previous week against Old Dominion. But we've got to do a phenomenal job of protecting the ball. Last year we had 2 turnovers. They had 2 turnovers. So we tied it. You know, and had we not turned the ball over twice, you know, it might not have come down to the last second play of the game.
Coach Nix always tells me, stop the run first. That's the priority. I think Devin Johnson leads Conference USA in rushing per game. How do you stop him?
Well, we got to tackle good. You've got to be successful on first down. Where they're really good is when they can get in, you know, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. Now you can run it if you want. Now you're 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and that's what happened to us yesterday or Saturday against Southern Miss. They got in a lot of 3rd and manageable down and distance where they could run the ball, they could throw the ball, and to me that's a direct reflection on how well you play on 1st and 2nd down. So we've got to be good on 1st down, 2nd down, obviously, also to try to get them in, you know, longer 3rd down situations. But you know, they're really good. I mean, they're average. Everybody talks about, you know, the quarterback Cato like they should, but they're running the ball for, you know, a bunch of yards also. They're leading the conference in rushing. So everybody talks about how effective we've been running the ball. You know, I think we're in 3rd place in the conference behind UTEP and Marshall.
defensively, I know you guys, the yardage numbers you're giving up through the air are not good, but I know a lot of that's been a product of kind of the games you guys have been in, forcing teams to just pass for, the whole second half. Having said that, though, at what point do those numbers kind of become alarming? I mean, giving up, more than 400 yards a game through the air almost every week.
We win. That's the bottom line, win. And you look at who we've played. Western Kentucky threw for a bunch of yards. They don't try to run the ball. Old Dominion threw for a bunch because they got behind and they don't run the ball that much. Southern Miss threw for a bunch the other day, trying to catch up. So I've got a lot of confidence in our defense. The good thing is we're making them earn everything they get. We're not giving up a lot of 60, 70, 80-yard, touchdown passes. We've got to be better. Obviously you don't want to continue to give up that many yards. But the bottom line is, we're doing what we need to do defensively to win the game. And, we got two new corners out there. We knew we were going to. We had some young people out there playing for the first time, and that's no excuse. But it's we got to be a little bit better. But I'm not going to sit here and cry or anything like that. They can throw for 700 yards if they want to, as long as we win the game. That's the bottom line.
You mentioned on Saturday, your biggest concern was off the field with the health of your football team. You just mentioned 2 new corners, and you mentioned the offensive line stuff earlier too. Where are you with, some of those guys?
It's still too early to say anything about that. Just because we practiced yesterday, we're off today, so. Those guys that are hurt, none of them practiced yesterday, so we'll see how they come back and what their availability is going to be on Tuesday.
Coach, I know the past 2 weeks you guys have gotten off to good early starts, and their defense only gave up points in the first half last week to I forgot who they played now.
Old Dominion.
Thank you, to Old Dominion. And so how important is it for the team to get off to a good early start against a good team like Marshall?
We were fortunate enough last year that, we scored on our opening possession. Marshall's been excellent. I don't think they gave up a touchdown to Old Dominion with like 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Last week, and that's the first points they've scored. People have scored against them in the first quarter. They're outscoring people in the first half by a lot. So I think it's critical that we don't. Old Dominion was down 42-7 at halftime. They got out. The game was basically over by the end of the first quarter. I think it's 28-7 then. Might have been 35-7. So it's important, that we get off to a good start. It's not, if you don't, you still got to play 3 more quarters. It was 21-21 last year at the half against Marshall. So Marshall's done really well, on both sides of the ball, preventing scores and scoring in the first half. So we've got to make sure that we slow them down and we try to get on the board ourselves.
And then I know it's their homecoming game this weekend, so what are the difficulties for your team, the opposing team, in playing a team on their homecoming?
I don't think there's any difficulties. I mean, I don't think their players are going to get more excited because there's floats running down the street than they would if there weren't floats running down the street. It's going to be sold out, but it's always sold out. It's going to be a great atmosphere there, but it's always a great atmosphere at Marshall. So I don't think homecoming has anything to do with how Marshall is going to prepare. I hope they're all out putting tissue in floats, and I hope they do all that stuff, all week long, but I don't think they will.
And then I know, of course, like you said, their defense is really powerful, and their offense is very powerful, and your offense has been playing well the past few weeks. So do you think that this will be a high-scoring offensive affair?
As a coach, you hope not. We've won we had one against them last year. We had one this year against Western Kentucky. But as a coach, you hope, your defense plays well, that you're not giving up a bunch of points, and you hope your offense scores on every possession. That's the objective. But, to me, you go in and you prepare as a player, as a coach, like I said, to score every possession and to shut them out. And that's what you try to do. And then you get into the game, and if it's, matching scores. I think last year there was, 5 or 6, 7 ties, 4 lead changes there in the fourth quarter. So you just have got to be mentally tough and compete and play the game, for the entire 60 minutes. And if it ends up, in the 50s, you got to play it. If it's a low-scoring game in the 20s, you got to play that.
Coach, it sounds like you all have had the Marshall game sort of circled on your calendars for a while. Given what you did to them last year, do you feel like they may have had the Blue Raiders game circled on their calendars?
Well, we haven't. I haven't thought about Marshall, to be honest with you, till this week, till yesterday. Marshall game has not been circled for us. The only game I circle is the next one, and I'm not being smart aleck or coach speak or anything like that. I'm sure their fans, have been looking forward to this game because of what happened last year, but I'm sure, Doc and his players have, played it one game at a time like you're supposed to. So, we haven't talked as a team one time about Marshall. All our objective was to get to 3-0 when we got there, and no different. We play UAB next week and all that stuff. So this game is no more, no more important. It's more important now because we're playing them, but 2 weeks ago it wasn't any more important than Southern Miss.
It sounds like Marshall's reputation kind of precedes itself. Do you feel like your team now, your reputation precedes itself? I mean, they're well aware of all you guys are capable of doing, aren't they?
I hope so. And I have a ton of respect, for Marshall and its tradition, its history. It's one of the, when they were 1AA, it was the best 1AA program, one of the best 1AA programs in the country. They national championships, and then moving on to Division I, they've continued that tradition. I hope when people play us, that they know that we're going to play extremely hard, we're going to play extremely physical, that we're going to play the game. We don't ever give up. We never let up. We play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and that they respect us when we come in, when whoever we play, that they respect us.
Have there ever been times where your team has gotten too hyped up for a game, and if so, this seems like one of those ones where it might happen, given the 5-0 record for them, et cetera. How do you guard against that happening?
No, I don't think so. I think we've always approached every game with the same intensity, the same focus. I know we'll be excited to play this game. I know we'll have a lot of energy. You know, I just hope we play smart enough and efficient enough to be successful. But I don't think we've ever been overhyped or overexcited to play a game where we didn't play well because of that. Thank you. You guys know Mark Owens, don't you?
Did you give him a proper intro? Isaiah, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. What do you remember most about last year's big win in Floyd Stadium for you guys?
Obviously, the biggest thing will be the last play of the game, Tavares catching that pass, and how I think up front we physically dominated them for 4 quarters. And, you know, from an offensive line standpoint, that's when we want to go out and do it again, is dominate them up front. And we feel like we'll be successful against them.
I was looking at their notes here, and I think, like you just mentioned, they outrushed most of their opponents last year. I don't know if they outrushed you guys or not. I know you guys ended up winning the game. How important will it be on Saturday just to stay on the field and to keep that high-potent offense off the field with you guys' running game?
I mean, I think that's always important. Just like you said, they got a high-potent offense. I think we have a potent offense too. You know, we got a lot of skilled players that can do a lot of big things. Biggest thing would just be consistency. We have to be consistent as an offensive line, whether we're injured, banged up or not, and that'll give us the best chance to win the game.
Yeah, and talk about that too. I think three guys, 3 of your running mates up there, you know, didn't play or played only parts of the game on Saturday. How hard or how difficult is it this week to going to be able to find some cohesion in that unit if a couple of those guys, you know, can't go against Marshall?
I mean, we're a really close group. You know, we're all real close to each other. Just like Coach Doc says, if one guy goes out, you pick up your rifle and you go do your best for your team. We all prepare well. The biggest thing is just for the guys that don't play as much, I just want to encourage them every day to play because you're one play away. And you never know, but I don't think it's going to be a problem with cohesiveness. We're all a good group, and I'm confident in everybody up there.
Marshall, really good team. A team getting, you know, a lot of national love, if you will. I know Coach Doc said it hadn't been circled on his calendar, and he hasn't looked to it yet. Have you at all, though, coming off last year, you know, knowing that they were the preseason pick in the conference to win, how big of a game is this?
It's the next game. You know, we're 3-0 in the conference, and we set ourselves up to, you know, to win this conference. You know, this is the next step in that sequence.
More questions? Do you think they'll be looking at last year? I mean, when you guys faced an opponent that you lost to the previous year, do you take any more emphasis into that game?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure that they're, you know, a little fired up. You know, they probably feel like that we beat them because if you look at our last drive, we had some great plays by some players, you know, some tip balls. So they probably feel like that, you know, that game got away from them. And I'm sure that they, you know, want some kind of redemption on us. But, you know, I'm not too worried about it.
I know last week Marshall sacked ODU's quarterback 5 times. So how important, or do you think you guys will be able to keep Grammer clean, and how important is that to the entire game?
Yeah, you know, we always want to protect Grammer. You know, he took some shots last week, but, you know, I think he'll be fine. It's like our second week with some new guys in there, so we should be fine. You know, Grammer can move around, make some things happen, so I don't expect us to let up that many sacks.
How are you, Leighton?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. I look down here in their notes package, 83-7 in the first quarter of this year, outscoring opponents 145-13 in the first half. That's a lot of points for an offense, you know, to put up in the first 30 minutes of a game. I'm sure they didn't get the ball first in some of those. How do you stop it, man?
You basically stop it by executing your game plan. You carry out the same approach that you have every week and just lock in and focus and prepare for it like every other game, like it's your last game, like we always do.
Coach Nix always talks about how important it is to stop the run. This is an offense that relies pretty heavily on it, even though it may not get quite the publicity that they get from their passing game. How do you stop the conference's leading rusher? What is it that he really does well that you've seen on film?
He's a heavy running back. He's a solid runner. He's really good at what he does. He's a downhill runner, and they have a great offensive line. They have plenty of experience back there. But other than that, he's a great athlete, hands down.
Where does this game rank for you as far as big games in your career?
I take every game as a big game. Like Coach says, it's not looked at down the road, like circle it on your calendar. Every single game, you have to take the same approach. We only get 12 games. Got to take them all like they're your last game.
What do you remember most about last year? Like I would just ask Isaiah, I mean, what was the big moment for you on the defensive side? I know you guys gave up a lot of points, but still, you stopped them when you had to stop them. What do you remember most about that game?
Wearing black helmets, I guess. But what I remember most, just got to make sure we execute. Just the lack of execution that we had, but remember most, black helmets and the fact that we won. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Leighton, you all know a lot about Marshall. Do you feel like, given your success against them last year and your 3-0 start in Conference USA, that they're fully aware of the Blue Raiders?
I'm pretty sure that they respect us and we respect them. They're a good team. We're a good team, and we just have to make sure we go up there and execute and stay focused the whole way through.
Just to follow up on your comment earlier about how you take every game sort of the same, how do you do that, I guess, when you're going up against a team that's 5-0? I mean, if you're playing somebody who was 0-5, it seems to me that you would be maybe less amped up than going up against a team that's 5-0 the way Marshall is.
Well, it's tough to stay focused when you're up against a team that doesn't win many games, and you just have to take it upon yourself as a mature player and carry the maturity that you have. We have plenty of players with experience on our team, like Jared, TT, Christian, and KB. We have plenty of players who are already ready no matter what, and you see how a lot of our leaders play on defense and on offense all together. So we'll be ready no matter what.
I know, obviously, it's hard to stop their offense because they're just that powerful, but how important will it be for you guys are opportunistic, so how important will it be to try and turn them over and get the ball back to the offense?
It'll be really important. That's what Coach Stock always talks to us about every single game. Offense protects the ball, defense get the ball back. This year, we are a little behind on schedule on getting takeaways, but we always have to keep playing violent and playing fast, and we'll end up getting the ball back and getting our offense in good field position.